New pod, new Monica Lepodsky. We have a guest, a very common recurring guest. Maybe one of our most. I know him. I know this guy very well. I know him very well. He's a good guy. We got David.
Is he possibly the best?
He is great. He
I
is.
can't do the hand thing. I can't. I look more
It's
like
it's just this. There you go, right there. There you go. Now you can do the hand thing.
Yeah, possibly the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we got David back. And he was on the last episode he was on. We did in the driveway at my dad's house, my parents' house, and he got us a whiskey that we were not super fond of.
You drank it, so
It's very harsh. It's an acquired taste.
It's definitely acquired. It tastes like you're eating a forest fire.
that is
I love it.
a great way to describe
It
it.
makes me hard.
Yeah.
Dude, Brianna, I like had some one night and she goes,
I literally made him go wash his hands because he got it on his hands and he smelled like a fire, but not like the good type of fire because it also smelled like, like rubbing alcohol got mixed into the fire
Mm-hmm.
and I couldn't deal with it. It was on his hands. I was like, get out of the bed and go wash your hands right now. Yeah, it was something, but he's acquired the taste for it because he can drink it. I still cannot.
well, let's be clear. I can tolerate it with Coke.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But
If he doesn't drink it straight, that's for sure.
But I've never been one of those guys who can sip like, whiskey or tequila anyways. But I appreciate the gift. I am going to get through it. I'm not going to dump it out on, I'm going to have it.
I told you guys you can cook with it, and like when you cook with
Maybe we
it,
should do that.
You could try that.
when you cook with it, like it's super good.
Do you like smoky foods?
Yes.
Ah.
Do you not?
That was a very judging. Yeah.
No, I never been a fan of smoky foods, but I do like smoked barbecue. So I don't know.
Here's how you can test it. You can do some like sausage in a pan,
Uh-huh.
and then you can just pour some of that in there and like let it marinate. And if it tastes really good after that, there you go.
And if it doesn't, I'll feed it to you.
I'm going to try that. I'm going to try cooking with it and see how that is. But either way, nonetheless, appreciated the gift. That was a great pod. Got a lot of listens.
I enjoyed the ND filter of the pod. That's been a
Mhm.
big fan favorite.
Well,
My sister's now convinced she also needs one.
So-
I'm surprised she doesn't already have one.
Me too, considering how much she loves camera gear more than we love camera gear. I'm amazed. I think it's because she's being a cheap bastard.
Well, also she doesn't have any money to buy one with, so she's
Well,
cooked.
she just spends all of her money all of the time. So it's like, well, just spend the money on the ND filter then. And,
I have that problem as well. Yeah.
yeah.
I-
James tries to curb it, but
I learned something about an ND filter in Mexico. I was filming a clip. It's in the video, actually. If you guys haven't watched the video, it's on the YouTube channel. Anyway, I was filming a clip of Brandon inside, and he's like, hey, why do you have that ND filter on? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I just always have it on. And he's like, no, when you're inside, like, you take it off, and then you put it on when you're outside. So I've been learning things as I hang out with more people that know a lot about cameras. He taught me about that. He taught me about, like, lighting settings and all this stuff. But nonetheless, learning. I love the ND filter. That was a big gift from David. And what do you think? Give a review of the studio aesthetics. It was because you've recorded in the original studio.
Mhm.
You've also, I believe, recorded in the temporary living room studio, if I remember right, and the driveway studio.
It's glorious. I love all the signs. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then it looks very even as well, symmetric, if you will.
this one right here gets me. That something needs to be over here.
We'll put something over here. The reason the sign is like cattywampus is because usually, like when we're filming, it cuts about here. So it made sense to have it here rather than centered. But we'll put something over here to kind of balance it out. But yeah, Brianna was this was her thing. She basically decided on everything. I mean, I think I might have helped choose the sign locations, but other than that, she did pretty much everything.
All that matters is what's in frame.
Exactly. What's out the frame doesn't really matter.
Well, that's the tough part, though, because I wanted to make it, which it is, I wanted to make it versatile for how small the room is. So, like, filming shorts and stuff, I wanted a better backdrop for doing things like that. So, like, you could pan to this wall and film in front of it for a short. You could sit like we are now. Originally, I had it set up where you could sit on either side of the TV. Like, say you're doing reviews or, like, what do you call them when you, like, watch a video?
Watch along.
Reactions.
Reaction videos, yeah. You could put a table in between if you wanted to film with a table on either side. So it was very versatile. But yes, James made the point, well, everything in the shots for primarily potting will be here and there. So haven't decided yet what. You could still stand here if you wanted to and, film shorts. But I'm thinking like a deer skull or something. I'm not sure. I don't like the idea of two lights next to each other.
Well, and you wouldn't see the other one.
But you would in a short.
Yeah, sure, but like the main thing is the pod, I think. That's the main thing. So, but David here. Okay, so this year he's been doing some hunting, and one of your Instagram stories, or I think maybe you text me a video or something, piqued my interest. You had a bit of a mountain lion encounter, a kitty cat encounter. And I have also had some, as has Brianna, believe it or not. So I would be curious. I want to hear the story. Was this first off? Was this your first time seeing a mountain lion in the wild?
Yes, it's my first time seeing a predator. So I'm from Ohio. There's nothing that can kill you in the woods in Ohio besides another hunter or yourself. So you're going through the woods at night, and you're basically just skipping through the woods because there's nothing.
Like black bears?
There are some up by probably Youngstown or Cleveland, like on the Pennsylvania border and stuff like that. But your chances of encountering one, and I mean, black bears can still be dangerous, but they're real small in Ohio, and they're not really gonna mess with you. I have not heard of any stories in Ohio of a black bear attack. So I've never encountered a wild animal in Ohio that could do a whole lot of damage to you.
Like spears you with its.
That's true. I've heard of a lot of urban deer that like to spear dogs. And if you want to see the toughest, like grimiest dog that is good at fighting, just get its ass whooped, put it up against a whitetail buck in Ohio, one of those urban deer that has all the eating your mom's hostas and stuff like that, and then killing your dog the next day. Yeah, I mean, it's got all the.
That's worse than the bears.
Dude, I've seen some hammers in people's backyards in the middle of the city.
Oh, dude, some of the biggest, deer and elk or moose, like some absolute whales live in residential areas.
Yep.
Because for the most part, they can't get hunted. I mean, they can't, if you read the regs just right, depending on your state, you can pull it off, but usually it takes like 3 or 4 different permissions to be able to do it. So it's like really, really tough. But dude, they do hold some big mature animals for sure.
Yeah. And you'll only see the true big ones during the rut in urban environments. You'll only see the big ones. I don't know where they come from. I could show you a map of where I've seen the biggest deer I've ever seen in my life.
Neighborhoods and 2 highways to get there, and you're like,
yeah,
where are you camping out the rest of the year?
No, you'll look at it. It is in the smack dab center of Columbus, Ohio. It's city for 30 miles in every direction. And
he really wanted that boon. He traveled.
Well,
jeez,
yeah, no, seriously. He's literally. I have a video of him sitting in somebody's backyard. And there's a doe about 15 yards away from him, and she's just eating away, and he's just staring at her vagina. He's just staring at it. He doesn't care about anything else but the pussy.
He's the thing. He went like 30 miles. So he went through Martha's yard, and then he traveled through like the Bakers, stayed there for a couple weeks, fed on their tomatoes. And then he moved on to like the Johnson residence, went a couple more miles into the city. Munched on their, above ground, vegetable garden for a couple more weeks, and then, followed that scent all the way in until he got to like, the Smith's house, and he found that poon that he wanted.
Sounds like me in 2020. You know what I'm saying? I'd be just traveling far and wide. You know.
You did. You did. You went like an hour from Ramona all the way down to Pacific Beach just to try to find some. There was none in between. Ramona and Pacific Beach. You had to come all the way down here to get it. But
Bro, the amount of distance in certain eras of my life that I drove in attempts to find the
glory hole.
The glory land. Bro, I used to travel far and wide, and have very, very low success rates for many years.
The encounter.
Yes. So
are we jumping to the encounter right now?
Well, we started that time.
I mean, we can keep talking about deer poon if you want.
Dude, this pod is off the rails.
It always goes off the rails.
Yes, it does.
Well, hold on. Here's what I want to know before we jump into the story. So, first time you see a mountain lion, right?
Yes. Any predator in the
Any
world.
predator, but in this case, a mountain lion, right?
Is it a coyote predator?
Yeah, but
I don't.
Not that's gonna
a predator that could take that is not afraid of humans.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we'll get to the story after, but my initial question is when you saw the animal for the first time, regardless of distance, we'll get to that in the story. What was your just initial thought of seeing the animal? Because each time I've seen a mountain lion, I think I've seen maybe 8 in my life in the wild, and it is a lot. I've seen a lot. I've seen more. But you got to keep in mind, I've been spending so much time in the outdoors since I was like 5 years old. So I've been fortunate to see them a few times. Every time I see one, I'm initially hit with this almost awestruck a little bit about how beautiful the animal is. And then other thoughts set in. But my first thing is wow, that's it's almost like a breathtaking thing when you see one, sort of. Did you have that at all?
No, but mine's a little bit different, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah, let me hear it.
Okay. To explain this, I was out in a very remote area. I made the decision to go out by myself because that's what I like to do. I like to be I'm kind of a lone hunter. I have trouble
per se.
What?
A loner.
I'm a loner, man.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I live alone.
Me too.
I hunt alone. You have him, But I always it's probably because I'm an asshole, but I'm real picky about hunting partners because I'm older. I'm 34 years old. I will get to wherever I want to go. I can still do that, and I intend to do that until I'm about 50. I can get to wherever I want to go. I can go on X and say, oh, that's 4 miles away. Whatever. I won't get there as fast as some other people, but I am willing to hump it to where I want to go. Mm-hmm. And I'm willing to go there. And so I'm very picky about hunting partners that are going to go, I'll be right behind you, So I went out by myself to an area, and I picked this place because my buddy told me, hey, I saw the biggest buck I've ever seen there, and during hunting season, you won't see a lot of hunters there. And I had hunted, it's a big, giant area, and it's broken up into multiple sections, and I was all the way in the south section, and I went there because he's like, you're probably not going to see anybody there, and he was right. So I went out there alone, and I was enjoying every minute of it, okay? So I was there for probably about 8 days total. I went there for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I was out there for 6 days straight. And I like to get up high in places. I'm not very good at glassing, but that's something that I like to do. I don't get bored glassing, and for some reason, I'm terrified of heights except for when it's a mountain. So I'll go up shit, and then not think about how I'm going to get down.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like I'll climb up a mountain and then I'll be like, holy fuck, how did I get up here? Like I don't know how I'm going to get down. I always do, but I'm very careful with it, but I like to get up high and like survey a place and at first. And plus because where I'm hunting is probably still 92 degrees and the only place that's cool that has a breeze is up on top. So you get that breeze and stuff like that. So for the first couple of days, I checked out some different spots and got up high in places and stuff like that. And there was this one canyon that I was like, I feel really good about this. I like that I can see in a long way away. It looks like a good spot. There's a ton of washes in the bottom of this canyon. And when I was up there, I'm looking at these washes and they just look like regular washes. And it's weird because when you get up high, you like everything looks a certain way. And then once you go down to investigate it, everything looks completely fucking different. Yeah. So I was up high for the majority of the first like 4 days or something like that. And I saw sheep every day that I was out there. And it was interesting because it's a once in a lifetime tag and I'm seeing where these sheep are and I'm looking at them and I'd be like, I can shoot that. I don't know how I'm going to get to it or for that matter, get it down. I'd have to have probably a private helicopter to get that thing down. So,
and sheep hunters, they got them.
Yeah.
Dude, I met a sheep guide one time. By the way, loving the story. I met this sheep guide one time, and he was telling me some of the budgets that these guys have and how they get to the areas and retrieve the animals. And helicopters were mentioned numerous times, as he was telling me.
It's a once in a lifetime tag.
Well, it's a once in a lifetime tag for us humble paupers. But these dudes that are doing these sheep hunts on a regular basis, they're dropping oftentimes over $500,000 for the tags.
Yep.
And then their guide packages will probably be, and helicopter ship will be another $500,000. I mean, they're dropping $1 million easily on these hunts, but that's the only way, or I shouldn't say the only way, but like a lot of these sheep hunts, the only way to really do them more than one time ever in your life is to drop wild funds. So not too many people can do it.
And you can get it down, but the problem is that you're going to have to go a mile that way to get up to like a ridge. And then you're going to have to walk along the ridge and then come back down. And like the spots that they're in, they just like run and hop along cliff faces.
Yeah.
And you're just like if you've got a sheep taking a nap on a cliff face, I don't know how you're going to like get up there.
I had the same issue in Hawaii that like I do the same thing where like I don't feel any nervousness about going up. It's only when I turn around to come back down or to start looking down, I'm like, my little legs just are like, they're like, it's like when you're like trying to touch cold water and you're like, where's the bottom? And you can't find it. And you're like, I have gone too far.
Yeah.
I have officially gone too high. Though where like I started rock climbing at a point and realized like I'm no longer hiking, I'm rock climbing.
Yeah.
This is not okay anymore.
With a pack on.
Yep. And then you look up and like the goats were another 80 yards up above that. And you're like, all right. So then you get to the point where like they move around and they get to the point where you can shoot at them. And I shoot at one and shoot it. This sucker goes straight to a cliff wall. Straight to it. I mean, James goes over there and tries to, like, see if there's a way for him to go. And they have these little caves on the cliffs because these are small goats, you know. These aren't the big, giant things with, you know, whatever those are.
Testicles with horns.
Yeah. These are just little baby goats, basically, in size, even full grown. And so their cliff walls are, like, this wide.
Yeah.
Like, just their little tiny hooves are what fit on this thing.
Yeah, and I mean...
Into the cave. And James is like, I just can't. I'm sorry. I can't get up there to get that. Like I can't even walk on it. Like one of my feet can't fit on the cliff wall that this goat has disappeared on.
Well, and the drops are like, for me to retrieve this goat was at least 100-foot drop, and I'm like, I can't. It's like, unless I had a rappelling gear or something, like there's no way. And yeah, and another thing too, like, dude, if you're spending a $500,000 or more on a sheep, do you really want to shoot him when he's bedded right on a cliff band? Because he's gonna probably fall and shatter all the horns that you paid.
$500,000 horns you just paid for.
Exactly. So
Pulverize the meat.
and pulverize the meat, kill the horns. Like, you have to be smart where you shoot the sheep. But I bet that was cool to see them. I mean,
it was beautiful.
and you're seeing, were they desert bighorns or Rockies? Because Arizona has both.
Were
Were they smaller bodies or pretty big bodies?
They're
Big
they're
white
probably Rocky.
Rockies, you think?
Yeah.
So they're dark with like the white rump, big white rump.
Yes.
So that was a Rocky, probably. Yeah.
I don't know that much about sheep.
Is there like one that's more elusive than the other, or?
I think they're both elusive.
I know nothing about sheep, but somehow people like get super wet over them, and I'm just like, it's a sheep. Like, I can go hunt sheep for next to nothing in Hawaii. Like, I get it. They're by no means the same. My sheep looks like the sheep you have in your backyard. That sheep looks like some that came out of, Pakistan or something.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's a sheep.
Well, so yeah, there's desert bighorns, Rocky Mountain bighorns, doll sheep, stone sheep.
Yeah.
Obviously mountain goats, but they're don't really look the same as a curl sheep, but all of them, there's not a humble popper sheep. They're all very expensive.
It's in Hawaii.
I think
the humble popper sheep.
Well, and I love sheep.
About $100.
I love sheep hunting in Hawaii. I really did, but I think the going price right now for a desert bighorn is like, if you go to Mexico, is like 60 plus.
Yeah.
For a desert.
$60, I got you. Let's go.
60,000 shekels.
I'm out. That's 2 of my trucks down there.
Yeah.
So anyways, you're glassing the bighorns. You're seeing beautiful shit.
Yes. I saw does throughout the entire hunt, but I did not see any bucks on my hunt, but I was glad to be out like alone where there was nobody out there. And it was super awesome. So the whole point of that is after about day 3, I went around. I decided to investigate down in the canyon. And I was like, it's 12 o'clock. Like, I don't think anything's going to be moving or anything like that. And I've got all day. So I went down there, and it looks real different when you're down there, because the little wash that you saw down there is another canyon with 30-foot walls that are vertical. Yeah. And you'd have to have rappelling gear to get out of that wash. But so there's this, so I'm in a canyon, and it's got, various flats and stuff like that in on the canyon bottom. And, it's got this road that runs through there that's not open to the public. And I don't even think you could get through there with a tank, to be honest with you. But it's a road that goes through, and then it makes an S shape, and then goes all the way through. And where the S starts, or in the middle of the S, the road turns into the wash, or the wash turns into the road, whatever you want to call it. And that's where the big wash is, with the 30-foot walls that are completely vertical. So it's sort of like an S where it's on top, and then it goes down into the wash, and then comes back up on the other side of the S. So I'm, climbing around mountains and shit like that. And on Wednesday of my hunt, coming out, I took that road, and I hunt all day. I go in at 4:00 a.m. and get to my spot, because that's what I do. And I get to my spot, settle down, cool down, and stuff like that. Do a whole bunch of temperature and moisture management, because that's what I learned in Ohio to make my hunts comfortable and stuff like that. And then when the sun comes out up, the glass is already there, and you start glassing and stuff like that, and you start looking for stuff. Do that all day, and then I wait until last possible light, and I set an alarm for 2 minutes before shooting light ends. So 2 minutes before 30 minutes after sunset. Because and it's an audible alarm so that I don't get the whole thing where, you shoot and then look at your phone and realize it's 1 minute past. And then, of course, if you shoot a 7mm Remington Magnum in a canyon, it's going to bounce all the way around. And then people are going to wonder,
that sounds like, very
sounds like
concerned about the timing. But
I am
specifically.
I
Not
am.
that you're ever doing anything illegal with a bow, but like, I guess we're just like, oftentimes that 30-minute after light rule for us, like, you don't even make it to that 30-minute mark because you just can't. Everybody's eyes are different in dark.
Oh, and a lot of times you can't even like see pins or ring to ring.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you could be 10 minutes past dark light, but if you're in a forest sitting a tree stand versus like, out hunting the open cornfield, like you may make it till that 30-minute after sunset mark, whereas I ain't making it 15 minutes past sunset in the forest, in my tree stand. So I just know the sun has set, and I'm just like checking pin, and then looking at time, like, yep, time to get down.
And honestly, with a rifle, that's going to depend on your scope.
Yeah, scopes I pick up a lot of.
You can pick up like
you can
it'll
shoot shit in the dark.
Yeah, I mean, so I usually go. I usually like, and it's not that I want to get away with something. It's just like with a really nice scope, you can still see up until shooting light is ended.
Time.
Yeah,
like you could very easily not realize you just shot long past legal shooting time.
And when you've got a 7mm Remington Magnum with a break on it, like that sound is going to carry all the way to all.
More than at the end of the road, it's going to be like. Let's go, guys.
In Ohio, it sounds like a war zone when deer gun season runs around. So it's like you can't tell where those shots are coming from and stuff like that. But in a place where deer are at a premium, like you never want to have someone look down at their watch. And of course, it's going to take 5 seconds for that, or 5-10 seconds for that sound to reach them down in the valley. And, somebody gets jealous or something like that. And they said like, whatever. But, I stay until last possible. And then I, walk my way out in the dark. So in the mornings,
pro move
in the mornings, I'm basically skipping in there. I'm not looking over my shoulder. I'm not doing anything. I feel good. Nothing's wrong. But Wednesday night, it felt really weird walking out of there at night. And I attribute this to growing up in Ohio, where again, nothing can kill you in the woods. So when a fish out of water come out west, where there are predators out there that will fucking kill you, because that's their job, that's their livelihood. I'm looking around all over the place with my light. Okay. And I've got a lot of extra batteries for my headlamp, and I have an extra headlamp for in case that one goes out, and I know exactly where it is. I know exactly where it is. So if that one flickers, I'm going, whoop, turning it on, switching them out. And I've got lots of extra batteries. So I'm coming out on Wednesday night, and I get into the S, and then I come up the ramp from the opposite side of the S, and I see a pair of eyes. And of course, when you see a pair of eyes, it's kind of freaky because it's pitch black, and those eyes light up like nuclear bombs. And so I see it halfway up the mountain on the other side of the canyon. And I'm just kind of watching it. Can't tell what it is. I don't know what it is. I'm like, maybe it's a deer. I don't know. So I stand there and watch it. And I have my 9mm on me at all times when I'm hunting out there, especially. I don't care what Arizona Game and Fish says about how it's fake news that there are mountain lions out there. I have my 9mm on me at all times. With the extended mag for for extra ammo. I'm sitting there watching it, and I'm just sitting there, and it's like 200 or 300 yards away, but it's very apparent there's a pair of eyes up there. And so all of a sudden the eyes blink out of existence, and I'm like, that was weird. And then it reappears about 350 yards away. And I'm like, okay, it's going away from me. And they just blink off, and then they blink on again. And it's super weird. It's super creepy.
It's hard because, like, technically, like, it's as easy as it turned its head to walk away, but it literally looks like it disappeared.
Yes.
Because it's dark. So, like...
And then they reappear in another spot.
Yeah, it's like, oh, he just stopped and turned and looked at you again after he was done walking away or toward you.
Yeah.
And you're like, all of a sudden he disappears closer or further and then disappears again. But they're not disappearing, you just can't see them until their eyes make contact with your headlamp, which is the scarier part of it. Because you don't know, if you choose to keep going, where they're going or where they went. Like, he happened to be moving away, but...
At this point, it was moving away from where I was going to, so I was like, okay, well, I'm going to be ready. So I'm like, every step, I'm looking around everywhere, okay? Get back to my truck, and I'm like, okay, we're good to go. Have a couple of pops, as you would say. Go back to my camp, and at camp I feel very safe and stuff like that. So I had to go back into work on Thursday. Because I was saving time off to go see my niece, which I'm about to do tomorrow. She was just born. I packed up camp in the morning and went back to work. On Friday after work, I come back out to the same camp, same spot. Okay, and Friday, same thing. Walk in the morning. Might as well have been skipping through there, cloud nine, whatever, get to my spot, same thing. And I'm going throughout this entire canyon each morning and picking up different spots and, trying to glass and see stuff. Saturday night, it's the same thing. I wait till dark, hike out of there, and I'm getting the same creepy feeling where I'm like, something is not right here. And I get through the S and come up the ramp, and it's on the other side of the canyon. And I see the eyes. And keep in mind, I have already been scared shitless by a bird at this point on the ground in the middle of the trail, like a singular eye. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? And then all of a sudden, the bird decides to fly towards me. And I'm like, fuck, yeah! And it's just, I'm like, oh God, it was a bird. Thank God. So I'm already kind of like on edge, and, it's already psyching me out because I'm like, is that a bird? Is that a deer? Or is that a mountain lion? I don't know. So Friday night, I see the eyes on the other side of the canyon. It's about 600 yards away. You can still see the eyes clear as day. And I get back to my truck, same routine. Okay. Mm-hmm. Go back in the morning on Sunday. This is the last day of my hunt after today. Once it hits 30 minutes after sundown, your hunt is over no matter what. So I get back out there on Sunday, and this is the day that I spotted the pair of testicles with horns. It was a fucking hammer. So I texted my buddy, and the sheep are the only species of animal where I'll text all my buddies and say, if you know someone who has a sheep tag, I will give you all the information about it, whatever you want. Because, there are 75-year-old dudes who go out there and been like, I've been putting in since I was 16 years old. And I'm like, you go for it, bud. Like, I'll tell you exactly where it is. If you want me to come out there with you and take a day off and show you where I saw it, I will do that. Yeah. Like, if it's a lifetime tag, I am all down to help you with whatever you need. I'll fucking help you pack it out. Do whatever you need to do.
That's the exact same way I felt when I filmed that once in a lifetime bison hunt for Taylor, who's been on the show, friend of the show. But I felt the same way. I was like, I'll say where it is, and if someone wants to message him for tips and drew the tag, he's happy to do it because it's a once in a lifetime tag. Like, you're not going to draw it. You can't blow the spot out when there's on like 2 tags. You know what I'm saying? So
Well, you did it even for elk, and it's like
on a
even that's not a once in a lifetime, but it is like a once in every 13 years you're likely going to draw a tag, and it's like the species has rotated through their birds multiple like every year, like. Me helping somebody who has a tag that took them 13 years to draw and they go out and they get the big bull that we dropped them a pin for in the location and areas, like that is not going to affect my potential.
Bull's going to be dead by the time you draw the tag.
Not only that, it could die of old age.
That's what I'm saying.
And it'd be dead for 40 years before you get that tag again.
Yeah, exactly.
So
for the first time.
That's not going to affect, even for non-once-in-a-lifetime tags, like that animal has lived its full life cycle before I will likely draw that tag.
Yeah.
So it's not affecting anything by me telling them where that 300-inch bull is, and then I draw 8 years from now. Like,
yeah.
By then, another bull has been born and made it to 300 inches.
Yeah.
You know?
But 300 inches is great.
I'm being exaggerated.
That's a tiny... A 300 is not a big bowl.
Oh, what is 360?
400's
400.
That's like the glory standard. I would consider, to me, as a mule deer hunter my whole life, a 300 bull is huge, right? Like above 260 if he's looks nice, but an elk guy would probably call a big bull like 330 plus.
Oh, well, good for them, but anyways, nonetheless.
In my area, it's got to be 380 and above.
Which is, 380 is like giant, but you better be in a premium goddamn unit and be ready to pass a lot of 340s. And a 340's huge.
I don't think I would.
Yeah. I don't play the numbers game myself because I'm all about the story. Yeah. But and also I'm not a big animal killer.
Yeah.
I have no bragging rights for anything. So it's like does it have horns? Is it an elk? Or does it have antlers? Is it an elk? Legal? There we go.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta to talk about story, bro. Like in Mexico, I was sitting a feeder and out walks the buck. And then I smoked him.
Yeah.
It was a good story. No, it was a good story, but it's different than like the style of hunting that I generally do. His races. It was a great video. Honestly, I'm very proud of the video. Very good. And it was still a great hunt. I'm very proud of it. But I know what you're saying. Like, I like the hunts. I've always been addicted to the hunts that are like the hardest shit. Like the really, really tough, grungy shit. That's what I like, you know? And yeah, the high-end hunts that cost a bunch of money are cool too, but it's different. It's not the same. It's two different things. Both are great. I love both. But I agree with you. Story's dope.
I love this. I love the stories where it's just like, I was sitting in my saddle, and then all of a sudden the booze from the night before kicked in, and I had to take a shit out of my tree stand. And then I had realized I had nothing to wipe with, so I had to sacrifice one of my socks. And as soon as I get done with that, the doe walks out, and I'm like, oh shit, you know. And you finally I love those stories, dude. Those are the best stories ever, because it's just everything went wrong and then it went right. I love those stories.
Drop a comment down below if you're listening to this on like a wild hunting story that you've had. But anyway, okay, so let's hop back into it. So it's the last day of the hunt.
Yes,
you hike in there.
I saw the parrothead with horns. Sheep at 1,000 yards, and I was like, I don't know anything about sheep, but that thing looks like a fucking hammer. I can see its testicles from here. So, and it was so funny because the entire reason why I saw this guy, he was behind me.
Give it to me, buddy. Okay. Dude, I don't know how people listen to our pod. I think they listen because of shit like this, though. You know?
That's when you know you're having fun, man.
We're having fun. That is a nice eagle.
So the only reason why I knew this, they were behind me. The only reason why I knew, and it was a bachelor group. The rest I had seen were small sheep, was because I heard like a giant boulder tumble down the mountain. I was like, what the fuck is that? And I look, and I rearrange my binoculars, and the two sheep are just staring at the boulder that they had just sent down the mountain for like 3 minutes. They just stared at it like the dumbest creatures you could ever see. Just like, what was that? Oh, that was me. And so, I filmed them for a while. I got a whole bunch of video from my buddy because I was like, oh, if somebody needs this, like if somebody has a tag in this unit, like send it to them. And then I, went back to glassing for mule deer. Sun goes down, and I'm like, you know what? The last 2 nights that I was out here was really creepy, so I'm going to change the batteries on my headlamp real quick. Okay, so I changed the batteries on my headlamp, and I went down the mountain. And of course, it's still sort of light, so you turn your headlamp on, you go down the mountain, and by the time you get down to the flats, it's dark. So you can't really tell the difference between your flashlight beam when it's brand new batteries or old batteries, which is what I had put in my headlamp. So I'm walking around, and of course I'm checking every direction, and I get down to the S, and I get to it goes from the flats down to the entrance of the wash where it curves down, and then it goes back up. So I'm at the curve down, and there's like a little intersection where a smaller wash and the big wash intersect. And right at that intersection, my headlamp flickers, and I was like, "Fuck this shit!" God damn! I had put old batteries accidentally into, or one old battery with 2 new batteries, doesn't matter. The flashlight was not having it, so it flickers, and I'm like, "Oh damn it!" And it's completely dark by now. So I have and before I'd gone down the mountain, I made sure to put the brand new unopened pack of batteries in my hip belt. Okay. So I'm like, I know where they are. Don't freak out. This is really creepy, but like we're good to go. So my headlamp goes out right at that moment. I pull my phone out and I dropped it in a bush. And it was one of those things where you get it out and then you realize it's starting to go out of your hands. So you go and so it like flew, and I'm like, damn it. So it's completely dark. I'm like on all fours trying to find my phone to get some sort of light. I finally find my phone, and of course by now I'm like shaking because I'm like, fuck, dude, this is so bad. Like my adrenaline is pumping. I finally get the flashlight on, and I'm like looking around with my phone and shit like that. And so I finally work up the courage to actually change my headlamp batteries, change it. I turn it on, and it's like a beacon. You like a Superman, like a Batman, like a bat signal. I'm like, oh shit, this is really bright now. So I'm like, okay, we're good. Okay. I'm looking around, there's nothing out there, and I'm like, okay, calm down, we're fine. Okay. So I put my phone in my bino harness, in where it's supposed to go. I zip everything up, and I'm like, okay, deep breath, we're good, we're fine. So I'm in the intersection, and I take one step into that big wash, and my body just locks up. Like I start breathing really hard, and my every hair on my neck and what I have left on the top of my head is standing on end. And it's this weird, human intuition is like a fascinating and weird emotion, because something is wrong, but you have zero evidence. You have the square root of jack shit to tell you why something is wrong. And so I stood there for about 2 minutes, and I'm like, something's going to happen in this wash. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's going on, but I was like, fuck. So I had my walking sticks because I'm fucking old. And I put them in my left hand because I didn't want to drop my pack and just put them in my pack, because that could open you up to fucking around with your pack, and then something comes up and kills you. So I put them in my left hand, and I pulled out my pistol. And so I finally work up the courage to step into this wash. And, again, the walls are 25 to 30 feet high vertical. And, the wash is about 30 feet, wide. And so I'm walking down this wash, and I'm checking everything. And I get to the middle of this wash, and I look forward, left, back, left, forward, and I look right, and it's a 2 pair of eyes at the very top of the wall of the wash.
And now,
And
like, here's your rose. You got to come back up. So you just like off to the side.
off
like,
to the side on the top of the wall of the wash. So there's nowhere to go.
Like Simba, like the Lion King, like what Scar, like about to let the dad down. If you climb up that, Scar's just gonna send your ass right back down.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't have walked up. I would have hunkered right down.
And if you think the eyes are big when they're 300 yards away, they're like 2 mag lights just staring at you. And I saw the triangle ears. That's all I could see, the eyes and the triangle ears. And I stopped and I said audibly, "Ha, gotcha, bitch." And like it was very weird because I was like shaking walking down that wash and like breathing really heavy. And as soon as I saw that pair of eyes, like I almost relaxed because because now
you know where
I know what's going on. I felt like I had the upper hand because it's going to have to get down. Of course, it could have jumped, and on top of me, but
like
at least
a ballet student.
Yeah,
down.
at least I have my pistol in my hand, and it's going to have to fly 30 feet to get to me. Okay, so we're at a Mexican standoff right now. Like I'm staring at it, it's staring at me. So I'm trying to figure out what to do because I see the ears, but at the same time, I'm like, I want to make sure that this is not a deer or like a bobcat or something like that or something else. So I'm staring at it and it's staring at me, unmoving, unblinking, just eyes straight locked on me, squared up. Okay. It's squared up to me. So I was standing there trying to figure out what to do. And so I was like, okay, we got to do something here. I've got my gun out, ready to go. So I feel pretty confident about this. I wanted to make sure that this is not that this is a mountain lion because in the area that I'm in, you are not allowed to kill mountain lions. There's no tags. There's no anything like that. I assume that if you are attacked by a mountain lion and you end up killing it, that they will understand. But at the same time, you don't want to get back and report that you killed a mountain lion and they say, "Oh, thanks. Here is your $25,000 fine, and please report to the nearest federal pound me in the ass prison at your closest convenience." So
unless you're in areas where, like California, for example, it's been illegal to shoot mountain lions or hunt them since like the early to mid 90s.
Yeah.
However, if you're hunting and you're in like danger, like you could die, then you're allowed to protect yourself.
Yeah.
But you can't just shoot one because you see it, or else you get all the stuff you just talked about.
But for example, you can't, because that's where it gets questioned, like, were you in danger? You can't then take the mountain lion home, mount it.
No, definitely not. No.
Usually you would call Fish and Game, and they're going to harvest that animal themselves if it's right there to be found. Like, you won't go home with it.
No, correct. Yeah, it's just protecting yourself from death or harm. But you if he charged you, by all means, you're allowed to shoot him if he's coming at you.
Yeah.
So
I would have dumped the man.
And I'm sure, and you're legally allowed to if your life is in danger, for sure. Like, you're allowed to protect. Same with grizzlies in states. Like, you can do that. You can do that. But yeah, to your point, you're like, I am not in danger by this cat right here. So you're just gotta, at that point.
I was, it's weird because you're technically correct, but I will show you the map later and you'll know exactly what he was trying to do. Or she, whatever it was. You'll know exactly what it was trying to do. So I'm standing there, I'm staring at it, it's staring at me. And off to my left, I see a little knob in the wash wall that it like pokes up. So I'm like, okay, if I keep walking. If I start to walk down the wash and it gets to this knob, it's either going to have to go on top of the knob to go over, in which case I'm going to see its entire body, or it's going to have to go around it and then reappear. If it reappears, it is 100% without a doubt a mountain lion that is hunting me. Okay? So I'm like, okay. So I have my pistol out. I have my walking sticks in my left hand. I don't know why I didn't just drop those.
Yeah.
But so I start walking, and I'm keeping my headlight at the eyes, and the second I start walking, it moves with me, squared up. It's like the eyes are hovering, okay? And so I force it to get to the knob, and the eyes just disappear. And I'm like, okay, fuck. So I look on the other side of the knob, and about 6 feet on the other side of the knob, they just reappear. And I'm like, fuck this. We're not playing this game today. And so you know how, yes, it is very much so. And it was stalking me so that at the end of this wash, I have to go right. And I have to go right, and it's almost like a staircase where you go up, but there's like a wall on the other side where it was going to ambush me at that point. So I'm like, fuck this. We're not playing this game tonight. So you know how when you hear about these stories about how people like get ambushed by a grizzly bear and a mountain lion, and they just end up shouting shit, and like after the fact they're like, why the fuck did I say that? That was so dumb. Well, I had one of those moments because I was like, when I said like, we're not playing this game, I just like pointed my gun at the wash wall, like right below it. And I was like, come get some pussy, bitch. And I popped off around.
He's OP. Oh my God.
So many normal things you can say, but your mind is not ready to say anything normal in the moment.
I just said some fake tough guy bullshit and popped off around, and the eyes just disappeared. And like, dude, the echo lasted for a minute in that canyon, and the eyes just disappeared. And I was like, okay, we're good. I was like, why the fuck did you say that? Why didn't you just shoot at it? I just blurted it out. And so I'm like, okay. I keep my gun out, and so I walk along and take the right, and I'm looking up behind me, all that shit. But I did not see the pair of eyes again. But the entire time I was really freaked out walking back. It was only when I saw the eyes and the ears, did I kind of like relax. And then after that, it's the specter of the unknowing that really freaks you out. But I reported it later, and they never called me back. Arizona Game and Fish never called me back.
Well,
So,
couple quick clarifications for any folks listening with their legal books out. Obviously, you didn't shoot at the lion. You shot
I made
near
sure,
it. Yeah, so you shot near it, scared off, and then also in your story when you yelled, you're lying to the lion. Did you hold the pistol sideways?
I did not.
Okay,
I held it.
I would have loved it if you shot it sideways.
Dude.
I would have. Just some,
No, because that would have been a kill shot, man.
No, you gotta hold it sideways, point below him. I would have loved it. Some Malibu's Most Wanted, baby.
Yeah.
That would have been gold. But that's a good story. That's a good story, and it's a good learning story. And I think you handled it quite well. I think you knew what was happening.
Yeah, he did. I wouldn't say you handle them as smartly.
Oh, I disagree, baby. I disagree, baby.
My one
Here, hold this. I'm gonna go slam my piss.
My one only encounter. I have seen two now in the wild, but the second one was from very, very far away. We were glassing maybe at least a half mile, if not a mile away. And James was like, that looks really, really big. That does not look like a deer. And we were looking at some deer, and I pan over. I'm like, tell me, like, describe where. And then, sure shit, it's mountain lion, and it was probably 100 yards from these deer. I'm like, that mountain lion's stalking those deer.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only one I've seen through glass. But this time we were in Utah, and we're out there still hunting around, and nobody ever really mentioned to me before, like, the thought of mountain lions, predators.
You've actually seen 3 lions, I just realized.
When was the third one? Oh, the little tiny baby one running down the road? Yeah. That one was cute. It was a little baby. His mom was probably somewhere, and it was running to get to mom.
Wait, whoa. Hold on, everybody. Hold on. Cold one.
Yeah, you got some.
This is why I can't keep anything nice. No gross, that's for sure. But anyways, so yeah, I've seen 3 actually, but one where we're out there and we're walking, and we just come up this hill, mountain, and just right there, all of a sudden, James like, stop.
It's not exactly what happened. So there were these she just forgot a little part. So there's these like stair step, like from old logging roads, right? They're steep and then flat, steep and flat. So we worked up and we actually spooked a bull, right? We spooked this little bull, couldn't get a shot. And we were on one of these shelves walking the direction the bull had ran, which was also the direction we had to go to get to camp. But we're walking one of the flat benches, and it's got, deadfall and stuff. So we had been on that flat for a little while, and we came around like a bend in the logging road, and that's when we saw it. So
yeah, so perched, I call it perched because that's what it is, on top of a boulder is this fucking cat.
Yep.
And
it was
calling it a cat
it's funny,
is not a good description for this animal, because it is legit. There's a reason they're called mountain lions, because they are the size of fucking lions. Like, their heads are fucking 14-pound bowling balls. Their eyes are like this big. They're like a marble does not, my eye's a marble. This animal's eye is a fucking tennis ball.
A lot of fucking mag light.
A lot of F words in this pod. Well, definitely the most.
But so James is out in front of me, and that is the way to describe it. Like, we rounded, like, whatever it was on the road. I think there was a log down, and we walked around it. And so James saw it before me, and like whatever he tells me, and he might I think the first words out of his mouth were mountain lion. And I like look to where he's looking, like, oh my fuck. And we do 2 very different things in that moment. We both have bows. James reaches for his camera.
Uh-huh.
I immediately, like, this is simultaneous. I reach for the only weapon I have, an arrow out of my quiver. I'm like, what the fuck? And he's just like this with the camera, and I'm just like, and luckily this cat does not stick around. Like, second he says mountain lion and gets the camera up, so we got a very short clip of it jumping off the boulder and running away, and it runs, it jumps down as in toward our direction, and then turns and skirts straight away from us down this logging road. And I'm just like, that was the only way, like, my thoughts, like, going through my head were like, in that moment, the only thing I had was a fucking bow and arrow. And like, you feel so confident going hunting with a bow and arrow until you're in that situation and you were like, what was I gonna do? Like, drop my bow and hope that I just aimed enough to, like, put the arrow somewhere in that animal? Made me realize that, like, I would love to have, a small gun to take with me in cases like that, because I feel very confident until I'm not confident to go out by myself. And so I think it was like, even the next morning, I got up late, and one morning I got up late and I would not walk to my stand until there was gray light. And then the next, whatever morning, it wasn't like consecutively, but the next time I did it, I just didn't even go to my stand. I just took the truck down the road and glassed from the top of the, like, flat of the mountain we were camping on, and glassed from there. I was like, no, not walking to the stand by myself today, because my stand was before James's, so he was always there until I reached my stand, and then he kept going. So I never had to walk by myself. And it was just like an eye opener to the experience. But so to the story, there is like, you react, like your body reacts and knows what to do to protect yourself in the moment. Like I wouldn't say I was calm, but like I did whatever I needed to do to protect myself.
Yeah.
But then the animal disappears and you're on freaking high alert.
Yeah.
This one, it's just like, all right, we're going to go in that direction. And I look at him like, the direction the mountain lion went? He's like, yeah, so just, like, be looking around. Keep your head on a swivel. I'm like, what?
Well, we had to because it was the direction of camp.
We needed to go to camp.
But I find that it's funny hearing these stories, right? Because I think cats, especially when it's your first experience with one that close, it's like you remember it like in certain ways. Because I would tell the story so much different than Brianna a little bit. Like the cat, for example, was not on a boulder. He was on flat ground he was on the same path as us, facing us. So we're walking basically a little goat path on the logging.
You have to look at the cliff. See, this is why I got the...
Well, no, here's why it's fun. Because I remember it vividly, right? But it was funny because we come around the corner, like she said, and there was a down log. So right over top the log, I see a basketball size head.
Yeah.
Right? Looking at me like this. And I knew right away what it was. And she didn't say the distance. It was like 20 yards.
It was very close.
Right? So he's facing us and we're facing him on eye level. So he's lower than me because obviously I'm taller. But we're on the same path. And I remember when I saw the cat, I go, Brianna, there's a mountain lion. She goes, what? I go,
what?
I go, there's a mountain lion right there. And I had seen him. And I had this weird moment as, like, I've seen, like I said, now that we mentioned it, I forgot about that one cat we glassed up last year. I've probably seen closer to 10, maybe 10 in my life. But this was the first time I'd seen one. I've seen some closer maybe once, but they were running away. This one was just standing on the same path facing us, walking our direction. But I remember I saw him, and my mind just went, all right, I see him. He's looking right at me, but I can tell that he's not. Like, we surprised each other right here. I guarantee in his head, like, it was the weirdest thing. I just had such a connection to him. Like, before I think I even told her, I was like, I feel like, holy shit, there's a mountain lion. And he is thinking, holy shit, there's a human.
Yeah.
That's
like, you just walked around a corner and you're just like, what the fuck?
Exactly. That's how I felt. And I go, he's not going to attack us. I could just tell he wasn't. So then that's why I went for the camera. Because I didn't feel like he was seconds away from charging me. And then he turned around and ran down the logging road. And Brianna's right. I go, all right, we're going to keep going. She goes, well, he just ran the same path. And I said, yeah, we're going to watch for it. Right. And dude, here's where it gets really funny. Right. Do you want to tell this part or you want me to tell it?
No, I'll tell it. So we're going. And he tells me keep my head on the swivel and whatnot. And now my adrenaline's it's spiked. My heart is still beating quickly. And we don't go more than like 70 yards. And you just hear like, I'm like, I thought I had a heart attack. Fucking skunk.
No, you skipped the part.
No, I haven't skipped those ones.
Nope. She skipped the part. And it also wasn't a skunk.
There was a skunk. Remember, I wanted to shoot it. You went up, you filmed it, and everything.
That was a porcupine.
Oh, it was a porcupine. I'm sorry.
And you skipped she skipped the funniest part.
No, I'm getting to that part. Believe me. TMI will be here in a moment, guys. So it's a porcupine. We get up close to it and film it, and
not the part you're saying. You're skipping another part. I know the part you're talking about, but here's where it gets really funny. So prior to the porcupine, we start walking, and in Utah, high country Utah, that was before the porcupine.
No, because I thought that's what leads me to the TMI.
This is why eyewitness testimony is the least.
But see, I know for a fact. I know.
One came before the other. So we'll say, okay, the porcupine came after. In high country Utah, there are these lovely birds called grouse, which is why your bird story had me laughing. Grouse are fucking loud. Loud. When they take off, it's like when a turkey flies down from the roost. You would think these birds don't fly anywhere as loud as they are to have to flap their wings to go, and they're big birds. They're like chickens, the size of chickens. And so their wings are hitting everything under the sun when they're up in trees. And a fucking flock of grouse go to take off. And it's just like, it's nuts. I freaked the fuck out.
It was actually just one grouse.
It might have been one grouse, but they sound very loud. And I freaked out. And so then comes the, like, now I fucking have encountered a goddamn mountain lion. The grouse scared me.
When it rains, it pours.
Yeah.
Well,
and then comes the freaking porcupine.
The porcupine was when...
The porcupine was after because we stayed a while to watch the porcupine.
You're correct. The porcupine was after, like I said. So we came across the grouse. But here's the funny part, right? So the grouse, they are loud, and it definitely made... even me flinch a little, and I go, okay, it's just a grouse. But then we keep going, and when I really flinched was I'm walking the trail, and I hear something in a bush, like from here to that tripod. You're talking like 5-6 feet. I hear like the bushes flinch really hard, and that's when I'm like, oh boy, this is it. He's going to dart out of the bush, right? And then I see a friggin' huge porcupine working. I'm like, oh my gosh, and we watch a porcupine for a while, and then here's Brianna's the park she's been working up to.
So, needless to say, my anxiety has now shot through the roof so bad that these animals, I could take it no longer. They have literally scared the shit out of me. I told James, just stay. I can't, or I'm going to shit my pants.
Yeah.
I booked it about 20 feet from him and just dropped all layers of clothes, immediately shit my pants. I couldn't hold it any fucking longer. They had scared the absolute shit out of me. And if one more animal had crossed my path, like we're waiting for elk, which is what we're still trying to still hunt toward camp for. I was like, I cannot, because if I see an elk, I'm going to shit myself. I am going to shit my pants. I got to get rid of this now, or I will not be able to still hunt back to camp. Like, I can do it. And so James is literally like, this is probably where we're probably 2 years in now, but like, we hadn't reached quite this comfort level yet, but I was like, just stay. I didn't care how many bushes were blocking me. If they were or if they weren't, just keep your head turned because I have got to go shit right now.
Babe, you're going to see some things that you're not going to want to see.
Later now, we've gotten much more comfortable. Me, not as much as James. I'll still choose to put bushes in my path, some trees, and some distance. There's been to the points where, like, we've had, I mean, this elk hunt for Ted, for example, like 6 feet.
Well, sometimes it creeps up on me,
And there's no, like, he could have chosen to go behind the bush that he chose. Instead, he shits right in front of the bush, like me, bush, him. I'm like, he could just went around that. Like, it's a sole bush, a bushy tree. You didn't have to walk a ways to get around it. Like, you could just went boop, 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 and been around the other side of the bush. But instead, you shat and had a conversation with me at the face.
Dude, I think that's might be the difference between men and women, because the women are just like, I want somewhere safe, and men are just like, well, if there's anybody around here with binoculars, they're going to get a show.
I try to get to the point where maybe I'm under the bush or like go under the juniper where if someone's glassing, they're not going to glass me taking a shit. James just like, it's like, I gotta go, like, and it's that bad, and then, like, now we're at the point where we're just having conversations while he's shitting 6 feet from me. It's, or the unit we're about to go in where we're going. Remember that time? That's the first time you'd ever been, I think, that comfortable where the unit you want to go to, and it was just me and you out there, and we hike up in the dark. It's still not gray light yet, and he's like, I've gotta go. So he turns around and just goes back from which we came, but only like 20 feet, and we're at the top of like a ridge line, and so the wind is still coming up the mountain. He lets this sucker go, and I'm 20 feet. I'm like,
Jeez,
I'm
oh,
just
Pete.
getting wafted with the scent of his shit as it's coming out his
Oh,
ass.
oh yeah, that's the booze and the curry from last night. Breathe it in.
Jeez, oh,
It
Just
was-
bask in it.
I was like, you could have just like gone the other direction from the window. Nothing would have saved me. It was all coming up the hill at this point, but it was mouthfuls. But anyways, that's what they like. It's the unknown
Yeah.
that really just gets your gut going. And so now, after these few experiences, I have a little more trouble because I see people post about it all the time, like, who has a problem walking in the dark, to their tree stand or to get to a glassing point or whatever. I'm like, I don't think you've had an encounter yet, for you to feel so safe walking in the dark. Because once you have the encounters, you're on much more high alert when you're walking in the dark, especially when you're in an area that has predators. Like, walk into your tree stand in Illinois, like,
No.
what's coming after you?
Nothing.
The groundhog?
I don't know. I've always been pretty comfortable walking in the dark, even after some sketchy experiences. But I think that it's really weird. I'm not like super. I mean, if I saw it in my face, like I was, had a crazy car crash and the lights were going out, I'm sure I'd be scared to die. But I'm really not that scared of death. So like, I've almost been struck by lightning twice. Come across lions, come across bears, all sorts of stuff. I still walk through the dark. I don't know what it is. It's just like something in my head where I'm like, if it happens, it happens. If I'm out hunting, it is what it is. And I don't say that to sound hard. That's just like genuinely how I feel. But I always say too, like one of the things that I think has led to so much of my hunting success in life, and it sounds like a joke, but it's real, is like, I think you can gain so many opportunities hunting if you're not scared of the dark. And I tell people that all the time.
1000%.
I'm like, I think a ton of my success is that I've walked into stands or whatever, miles deep in grizzly country, 2 hours in the dark. You know what I'm saying? And out in the dark. Cause I'm not leaving in gray light. I'm staying till it's over, and then I'm hiking my 3 miles back to camp or what have you. Lightning is the ones that are like, for me, have been the scariest, is the 2 times I've almost been hit by lightning. When I say almost, less than 100 yards from trees getting blown up. Yeah. That is a different type of, I can't even describe what that's like. That is, to me, scarier than coming across a lion, for sure. Because you can't control it. And you can't control a lion either, but maybe you could see it coming or work around it. Same with a grizzly, maybe. But lightning, bro, comes out of nowhere.
Well, you can't scare the lightning.
No.
An animal has its own mind and its own self-preservation. So,
yeah.
It's
more random.
It can choose to run away. The lightning's not going to stop and turn and go the other direction.
Right. Where lightning is pretty gnarly. And then the other most scary, like, this is not good hunting moment that I've had was getting.
I can't hold it in any longer.
You got to piss or what?
Yeah, I got to piss.
We're basically done with this pod anyways.
I have like one more thought about my experience.
Okay, and then this battery gonna die. So, anyways, guys, we want to say real quick, thank you for listening. Be sure to support all our sponsors. Subscribe to the YouTube podcast. 5 stars, Apple, Spotify. Code teambd. On badlandsgear.com saves you 20%. I will say briefly too, since we're kind of talking about fear while hunting, the most scared I ever think I've been was probably the 2 lightning strikes, but then number 3 would be one time I was hunting very rural Montana, deep snow. I hiked down into this deep canyon trail in this bowl through fresh snow. And I get down there, and like David described, I mean, I end up in this deep, deep, deep canyon, all vertical walls. And by this point, I keep walking down, and it's getting darker and darker and darker and darker. And in my head, I thought that this canyon was leading me toward this road that I could walk back. And this was pre-Onyx. And we had Garmin Nuvi GPSs. And I hiked down there, and it's at this point black, and I'm like, okay, it should be fine. But I was like, is it like I hope I'm right in my navigation here. I turn on the Garmin and hold it like this, and I'm waiting for it. Took them a long time to boot up back then, and it has to find the satellites to tell you. And it's like, can't read satellites. It's because I was too deep in this hole. And I'm like, okay, shoot. So I'm freaking out a little bit. This is grizzly country. It's lion country. This is like, and it's snowing. It's cold as shit. I walk more towards the middle. Finally, I get a signal, and I'm thinking it's going to say, like, this is the direction I need to go down this canyon, and it won't be a big deal. It populates, and the arrow's like, you got to go 4 miles this way, back and up. And I'm like, okay, this isn't super great, so I'm climb this wall, sketchy, get out, and takes me like hours in the dark, hours to get back to camp. And I finally get back to the truck, get to the truck, and I'm like, dude, my dad's going to be terrified, bro. I've been gone for so long in the dark. I get back to the truck, and he's not there yet. So I'm like, oh, God. Now I'm terrified, right? And so I'm like, what do? I guess I just stay here. So I'm sitting in the truck. I'm like, I'm not sure. Like, it had been another hour. He's still not there. So I decide to start driving the road back and forth. There's nobody out here. So I just start driving back and forth. And what do you know? There's the humble pauper walking down the road, And we both were like, dude, I got a night to tell you about. We both got lost on the same night, hunting separately. And I was terrified for myself, and then for him, it was just this like whole thing. But we are so blessed nowadays to have such good GPSs, such good watches, such good phones. It wasn't like that then, and that wasn't even that long ago. No. So we're so much more blessed now with the technology we have versus what we had then. And it's just really cool. I think hunters are definitely, stuff can still happen. This year alone, you saw those 2 kids in I think it might have been Utah or Colorado. I think it was Colorado, get killed by a lightning strike. Another guy got killed by a lightning strike. It can still happen. Like, stuff like that can still happen. But we're in a safer spot now for sure than ever before. Yeah. And that's really, really cool. And it opens up your options to not be scared of the dark, to go push harder, push further, because that's what's going to make the difference a lot of times. But yeah, stuff can happen hunting. And I think that's kind of become the theme of this episode, is that if you're hunting, especially Western stuff, big terrain, big animals, dangerous stuff, lightning storms that can roll up on you out of nowhere, what are you going to do? You're 5 miles deep, Hunting's dangerous, so make sure when you're out there, someone knows where you're at. You have communication with somebody, because stuff can happen. And even if you're doing all the smart stuff, it can still happen. It can still happen.
The Garmin InReach is what, like $300, and it has an SOS button. I mean, it's worth the $300. Just do it.
Yeah, but you had one more thing. We're gonna run out of battery on this camera, so let's go ahead and bang it, and we'll get this thing moving. But shout out to David 614 Archery on Instagram. He's a good dude. He has a YouTube as well, 614 Archery, and he helps a lot at the Yuma Southwest Bowhunters Range. They put on some really good shoots. They have a big tournament coming the end of January. I think it's the 31st and the 1st, if I'm not mistaken. I will be there competing. David will be there as well. So yeah, go check them out, support that shoot, and send us home here.
I think the one thing I would have been way less nervous if I saw it during the day. It was all of my encounters were during the night, and you're up reading like Teddy Roosevelt's stories, and then Lewis and Clark, where they talk about monsters in the woods and stuff like that. And then you go, oh, that was mountain lions and bears and shit like that. Mm-hmm. And of course, they went all the way across the United States. I think the creepiest thing, the thing that like kind of makes me the most uneasy about those encounters, is it was not an encounter where I just came around the corner and we came face to face and we're like, oh shit, like who makes the first move? If I showed you the map, and I will show you the map of where I saw all of that shit, That was not a chance encounter. That thing patterned me over 3 nights.
Yeah.
And that's the creepiest thing about it, where it wasn't just a happenstance occurrence. I took the same route out for the last 3 nights, and it strategically placed itself on the first 2 nights where it could get a different. It's the patience of this thing, where it strategically watched me from 2 different points and decided where my weakest point was going to be, where the bottleneck was. And if I had not seen it, that thing could have killed me. But I almost felt safer with my pistol than like with my giant rifle, because at that point, if it gets you down on the ground, I can just use it as a belly gun and just empty the mag into its I'm going to be fucked up. I'm going to have half a face at the end of the encounter. But I mean, that thing is much more maneuverable than a giant 7mm Remington Magnum. But that's the like I went back and analyzed all of my, and of course, like I've gotten to the point on X where I mark everything. I'll mark water, I'll mark tracks, I'll mark everything.
Oh, yeah, me too. I'm a big pin dropper.
Yeah, exactly. But like I went back and analyzed it that night, and I was like, that guy was stalking me, and it was patient, and it figured out the point where I was most vulnerable. And that was the creepiest thing about that encounter was looking back on it and going, I know what that thing was trying to do. I know exactly where it was gonna hit me.
Yeah.
That was the creepiest thing.
Crazy. Well, hey, great story. Thank you again. We always appreciate having you. One of my favorite guests we have recurring. I think Brianna would say the same. Again, 614 Archery. Subscribe to the Bow Disciples podcast. 5 stars, Apple and Spotify. Appreciate y'all. It's been a lot of fun. New episodes every Wednesday at 6 a.m. Pacific. And we appreciate you. We're going to keep them rolling. But yeah, be careful out there hunting. Know what you're doing. Know the laws. Have a sidearm if you can. Bear spray, whatever it might be. And just don't try to do stuff as smart as we can. That's the biggest thing, because it is dangerous when you're out in the middle of nowhere with no one close, no hospitals, no anti-venom, snakes. There's so much that could happen. So just be smart, be calculated, and most importantly, have fun in nature and try to get the job done, baby, while being safe.
Yes.
Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one.